we do have this nice little stretch tool by pressing R. Now, I don't need to show you this. Some of those buttons I'm not going to show you because it really isn't essential right now. So what it does is now it's more of a, if you go in between here, let's say you are locked in on the edit and this little gap somehow let's say you have a clip here, you deleted it, you don't want it, but somehow you want to extend this one and then fill up all the way here. The problem is this clip has gone all the way to its end and there's nothing left here. So now you need to come up with a way to either fill this gap with something else, or a new clip, or something different clip, or use this, extend it all the way, or use this, extend it all the way to the left and use it. Somehow you don't want to use one of these. I mean, you can select whichever clip you want to extend or use. The only thing is you can reduce the amount of speed or slow-mo it by somehow adding a slow motion, so it's much slower but longer. If this one works for you, great. I want this to be a little bit longer, but I need to fill up the gap. You might not use this on a daily basis, but here's what it does. Rate Stretch Tool. So when that function is selected, click on the right side. Obviously, every time you make any edit, always click on the edge of it, just so you know. One of these, they usually happen on the edge. So click, and all of a sudden, boom. I have stretched the same clip all the way to the right, fill out the gap at a different speed. Now what it does, it automatically reduces the amount of speed needed to fill out the gap. It went from 100%, which is a normal speed you imported in, to 72%. The percentages don't really matter. The only problem is if you stretch tool, use that stretch tool and stretch it all the way. Problem is if it becomes stuttery and juddery. Now there's a little bit of a problem. We don't have a really smooth flowing frames, and that doesn't work for me. So we're gonna have to kind of find a leeway or somewhat make it more watchable. So make sure those gaps are not all the way stretched, so every frame is somewhat visibly really stuttery and really hard to watch, because that's not good. So click on it, drag it to the right. You have 72%. I think that should be within the nice watchable frame rate. You can kind of see how frame rates are almost struggling, but still works. It's somewhat grinding all the way. It's like saying, look, you've stretched as far as you can. I'm kind of now stuttering, boom, boom, boom. It's almost not that smooth, but workable. So in times where you might have a situation that needs that same clip to be stretched a little further, or somehow make use of the clip as far as you can, fill up the empty gap you might not have something to fill up with, then click this one, same purpose, same thing. Now it became 50%. Now the whole thing is a whole lot slower. Well, it works for me for now. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this one right here. If you see this, I'm gonna really stretch it all the way. So I press this button, stretch tool, which is R, all the way. Now you can see how much dramatic effect it has on the clip. Now this was a time-lapse clip and brought it in, so somehow it doesn't have that actual framage. So if I reduce it, it should go at normal speed. But this was exported out, so it doesn't work. So you can see how that complete frame by frame. You can see it's almost like a bunch of pictures moving, one at a time. So that is the nice tool that helps you somewhat fill the places you might not have otherwise. So we don't really need to use that all the time. You can use the ripple tool. Most likely, predominantly, you'll end up using the ripple or the roll edit. So right now you have a normal edit. So click this one, you have a ripple edit. If you click on the N, now you have a more rolling edit. So those are the ones you can use.